Hey, Brody here from Brody Sports Blog. Thought instead of writing and talking about sport all the time, thought I'd try and mix it up a bit and do some tutorials, some videos on the sports that I've participated in over the years. Always studied the sports that I've done, studied like biomechanics in the sports that I've participated in. So I thought I'd do a boxing tutorial for dummies, basic beginners who just want to learn how to throw a punch and literally basic fundamentals of boxing. So I thought we'd do it in individual sessions. So this one will be the stance. We'll work on getting his feet in the right position, getting his hands in the right guard to protect ourselves, and then take it from there into like the jab in the next session, and then the rear cross, and then put the jab and the rear cross together in a session after that. But we'll create it in individual sessions, so make sure you take time on each video to really get to know the technique that you're working on before you move on to the next one. So what we'll start with is the stance, and work on his feet. Very, very important to get your base, feel comfortable in it. To move on to other things, you need to have that fundamental or a good stance. Without a solid stance, you're not going to throw solid punches. You're not going to be able to move how you should. So it's very, very important. So basically, we can stand with his feet shoulder width apart, and then whichever you feel comfortable with, whether it's pulling your left leg back into a southpaw stance, or pulling your right leg back into an orthodox stance, whichever you feel comfortable. I'm more of an orthodox fighter, but over the years as I've got older, I've kind of trained to be able to fight both ways. It's made me more flexible, more adaptable to situations when I've been sparring and stuff. So then further down the line, if you want to work on both southpaw stance and orthodox, then that's up to you. But for now, I'd encourage you to just work on one. So I'm going to do the orthodox stance, so shoulder width apart, and I'm going to pull my right foot back. Again, keep it shoulder width apart. I'm not going to be too side on. You don't want to be too side on like that, because you're going to get your legs crossed a lot and lose your balance. So you want to point your front foot, excuse me, point your front foot slightly diagonal direction. You don't want it straight on facing your opponent. You want to get it like that. Same with your back leg, and I put the weight on your back foot on the ball of your foot. I wouldn't advise you to be like solid and put the heel of your back foot on the ground. You're not going to be able to move as fluently as you could if you've got to get on the ball of your foot on your rear leg. In a boxing stance, you want to slightly put the weight on your front leg. Martial arts like kickboxing, they tell you to put it on your back leg, so you can pop front kicks, etc. But in boxing, you want to just put it slightly on your front foot. Knees slightly bent. You don't want to be too bent. You're not going to be able to move as well. You don't want to be. The legs don't want to be straight, because you're not as balanced. You just want to be nice and relaxed, slightly bent, so you feel like you can move nice and fluently. So get that. Feel comfortable with that. When you feel comfortable with that, just start moving around a bit. As you move, you're going to probably get a little bit further apart than shoulder width, but try not to get too far. You don't want to be like a fencer. When you get into a fencing stance, it's very hard to move well. So shoulder width apart, or a little bit more as you're moving around, and just get comfortable as you move. Try and move in all directions. If it feels too hard moving in all directions, again, your legs crossed, just work on moving forwards and backwards. As you go forwards, you initiate with your front foot and the lead foot follows. As you're going backwards, back foot leads, front foot follows it. Nice and steady. Again, front foot goes, back leg follows. Run move side to side. If you go into the left side, front foot goes, back leg follows. If you go to the other side, back leg goes, front leg follows. But when you're going side to side, you don't want to cross your feet. Don't start crossing your feet always try and keep them in the stance that you've been working on, and you'll be able to move and feel balanced as you're moving. So that's your feet sorted. So work on that for a while. When that feels comfortable, then start working on the guard to complete your stance. So we get into a stance again with his guard, hands up. Like basic boxing technique is that you've got to have your hands up. Some boxers, when you see them on TV, they've got their hands down and they're giving it that to their opponent. But these are guys who are like fantastic fighters, like Roy Jones Jr., Muhammad Ali, the late great Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis even had his hands low. But especially the first two, like Muhammad Ali and Roy Jones Jr., these guys were like geniuses. The reflexes were just so good, so fast on the feet. So they fought with all that low hands to kind of entice their opponent onto them, so then they could counter with their fast hands. But for us guys who are not at that level, they're never going to be. You want to be protecting yourself with your hands up. So into your stance with your feet, your hands. Some people advocate that you get your hands as high as you can like that. I can't fight like that. My vision, I always thought my vision was impaired, obviously, when you got big gloves in front of your face. And I just never felt comfortable. I felt too stiff like that. So I'd encourage you, like for me, I always were around about nose, or just above nose height on like my eye line. I always felt comfortable like that. If you want to drop them just slightly, your front hand especially, just slightly more, while keeping your rear hand guarding your chin, that's up to you. But try and get them at least at chin height to protect yourself. Your elbows want to be tucked in, so that you're not exposed. You don't want to be like that, because you're exposing some vital areas that opponents will go for. So you don't want to be standing like that. So your elbows, you want both elbows tucked into your ribs and side on. You see like that. This, like I said, this rear hand has got to guard your chin. Your front hand slightly in front of your rear hand, because that's going to be the one that throws the jab. It's going to get to your opponent the quickest. So you don't want to be pulling that too far back in, because it's going to take that bit longer to get to your opponent, and they're going to be able to react. So you just want it slightly in front while keeping your elbow tucked into your rib cage. And then you're going a nice relaxed stance. Try and keep your chin down as well. I found it really uncomfortable to start with when I was learning boxing. I was walking around my guard like that, but then once I started sparring, I was getting tagged and realised I could absorb the punches better when I tucked my chin in. Not to that point that you're straining your neck, but just tuck it in slightly, and so you can still see and you still feel relaxed, but you're going to absorb a shot better when you've got your chin tucked in. So that's kind of the basic stance. Your feet, as we said, your hands in a nice position, elbows in, and your chin tucked down. And then what we're going to do is, so we've got his feet and his guard, so you've got your stance. So then start moving like we did with the foot drill, but keeping your hands up and your elbows into your rib cage. Start moving around, keeping your chin down, and just get comfortable with it, so that you feel relaxed. And practice and practice and practice until you feel like it's becoming like natural to you. You don't have to concentrate on too much on keeping your elbows in. It's just second nature to do it. And then as you get more comfortable, start moving faster on your feet. See if you can do some nice dancing moves as your feet quicken up, while keeping your guard in good technique. There we go, both ways. Like I said, try not to cross your feet. You're going to keep moving your feet, uncrossing them as we move, popping off that back foot, springing, keeping your guard up. So keep working on that, on both the foot positioning and your guard, and keep working on it, and then work on moving with it and feeling comfortable with it. And then you can move on to the next session, which we're going to do, which will start you off throwing a jab. Cheers.